Hey, you too. Welcome back to my channel. This is the Real Nathan Daley, and I'm your law enforcement translator. I'm here to provide insight on difficult current event issues and topics. You guys, especially those involving law enforcement. Listen, tonight, what are we going to talk about, you guys? I'm going to be breaking down a body camera video involving a police officer and a black pastor. You guys, this incident went viral. Everybody's talking about it. I got to give my 2 cents. It's a very interesting situation. Hilarious, but at the same time disappointing, right? So we're going to talk about it and get into that. Listen, before we dive into that, you guys, please, by all means, hit the like button on your way in. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you so much to my subscribers, those who are following me. We are on our way to 25,000 to 50,000 and beyond. So please show support by subscribing, you guys. And if you see value on this channel, by all means, would love to have you as a member of the channel. So please subscribe. And listen, you guys, every Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, I do live streams, call-in shows. You can call in, ask questions. We have certain topics every Wednesday that we go over, a lot of current event things. And so would love to have you there on the show. Also at the bottom, as you see the social media, you guys listen, if you are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, by all means, please follow me at Real Nathan Daley. You guys, I would love to have you. So listen, let's get into it. All right, so this whole thing started, if you have not heard about it, a man was out watering his neighbor's grass, right? His flowers, right? The neighbor's out of town. The black man, he's a pastor. He's watering the stuff. Well, a lady calls 911 and says, hey, someone's suspicious in my neighbor's yard. This guy doesn't live here. I don't know where he's coming from, but he's out there, right? It's a black male. Well, guess what? The police show up, you guys. This is not uncommon. When people get it wrong, this gentleman actually lives in the community. He lives like a couple houses down. It's very unfortunate. So we're going to watch the body camera and really see what happened. I will be breaking it down, you guys. So let's take a look.
All right, got me going around. Howdy.
Hey man, how's it going?
Pretty good. What you doing here, man?
Water flower?
All right, they saying that, is that your vehicle?
Nah,
It's not?
that's the neighbor's vehicle.
The neighbors?
314, I'll be on 13.
Okay.
Yeah,
You live here?
nah, I don't live here.
Okay. They saying that this vehicle is not supposed to be here and you're not supposed to be
Who's
here.
saying that?
They called about it. I don't know who called.
Well, I'm supposed to be here. I'm Pastor Jennings. I live across the street.
You're Pastor Jennings?
Yes, I'm looking out for their house while they gone.
Okay.
Watering their flowers.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into it. I know some people don't like when I stop it. I got to stop it, right? You guys listen. So what happens, right? The police get a 911 call about a suspicious person at the house where I guess no one's supposed to be there. I guess the residents or the homeowner there is white. So the police show up. They said, hey, sir, how you doing? He's like, hey, I'm doing fine. What is he doing? He's watering the plants, you guys. He's watering the plants. The officers received a suspicious person call. Suspicious person is not a crime, right? So let's be very clear on that. It is a investigatory call. You're there to investigate, to see what's going on or why this is considered suspicious. So he goes up there. He asked them, hey, do you live here? We got a call that someone does be here and this car does not belong here. There's nothing wrong with a resident, someone in the community who doesn't see a familiar vehicle there, might not know, and they call the police, you guys. It happens all the time. There's nothing wrong with this. All right. Now let's move forward. What happened with the police interaction? How does this thing go south, you guys? How does it go south? Let's take a look. What does he tell the officer? The officer asks him, no one's supposed to be here, whatever. The gentleman says, hey, I'm Pastor so-and-so. I live down the street, right? But I don't live here. So he's already cooperating. He's telling the officer, he's just giving him the information. All right, let's see what he says.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Now, do you have like ID and all?
Oh, no, man. I'm not going to give you no ID.
Why not?
I ain't did nothing wrong. And they did
Well,
nothing
you look,
suspicious.
listen, I'm not saying do nothing wrong.
Dog, listen,
There's a suspicious person.
Look, I used to be a police officer in Goodwater. Don't come here with that. Okay?
Look, man, don't do this to me.
Look what he
There's
said. He said, I used to be a police officer. Should I just play it out? Or y'all want me to stop it? I guess you can't even respond. All right, he said, listen, I used to be a police officer. Right? He said, listen, I'm not giving you my ID. The officer asked for his ID, you guys. Does the officer have a right to ask for the ID? Well, technically, no. You can ask for his name, but no ID. Why can't he ask for his ID? I mean, you can ask. He doesn't have to give it to him. Why? There's no crime being committed, right? He committed no crime. What crime did he commit? The officers have to investigate to determine whether or not a crime has occurred or is about to occur. The officer asked him what he was doing. He said, I'm watering the plants, right? So let's see how this plays out.
a suspicious person in the yard, and if you're not one to identify yourself,
I don't have to identify myself. It's not a stop and identify state. That guy know me. He came to my store that got broke in. I live right over there across the street. Who called y'all?
that's what we got to figure out. But first,
Do you live black man
he don't live here.
You think
I'm not saying nothing
illegal.
about.
You have no right to approach me if I ain't did nothing suspicious or nothing wrong. Told him I'm a pastor. I pastor until I don't want to hear you.
Sir.
You want to lock me up? Lock me up.
Nobody wants to
Lock me. I'm not showing y'all anything. I'm going to continue to water these flowers. I don't care who called y'all. Lock me up and see what happens. I want you to.
Hey, man, just come here and talk.
All right, what happened? You guys, suspicious person. As officers, we are supposed to give people an opportunity to dispel the suspicion. What does that mean? If there's suspicion of you doing something illegal, I have a right to inquire, have a right to investigate. If I make contact with you and I find out that you're not really doing anything suspicious, you guys, I have to then dial it down a couple notches. So in this situation, it's still light outside, right? They pull up, he's watering the grass. He says, I live down the street, but I'm watering the grass for my neighbor. I'm a pastor. Now, granted, you can say a lot of things. It doesn't mean it's true, right? So let's all agree on that. Just because he's saying those things doesn't mean it's true. The officers don't know that at the time. What could the officers have done, right? The pastor says, hey, listen, who called you? They're like, we don't know. You guys, that's a no-no, right? What should they have done? They should have sent an officer to go actually talk to the complainant, the person who called, right? Before they went over there. I mean, you can still go over there, but you divide and conquer. Hey, sir, what's your name? Okay, you live over here? Well, we got a call about a suspicious person. They said that they don't belong there. Okay, so who is, do you know the resident? What's the resident's name? Okay, Tom? Okay, cool. Is this Tom's car? Yeah, that's Tom's car. Okay, guess what I do, you guys? Right then and there, I run the license plate to match the name with the name he gave me. And if it's Tom, it's Tom. I'll check the mailbox. I'll see if the mail matches the name that he gave me, you guys, to see if does he really know the owner. Hey, sir, listen, do you have a number where you can contact the owner? Just out of safety, I just want to just make sure you have permission to be here. We did get a call about a suspicious person. Do you have contact with them that we can just confirm or whatever? Why? Because again, I want to examine the information that he already provided. It's not a crime for him to water grass if he got permission from the person who lives there. So without actually talking to the resident who lives there, there's no way for you to confirm whether or not his story is true or not, you guys. And so this is the conundrum. But again, let's see how these officers handle the situation. Now, to me, this is easy work. This is textbook. But when you lack in critical thinking skills, things will go awry very quickly.
Lock me. I'm not showing y'all anything.
Let me rewind it back just a little bit.
I don't care who called y'all. Lock me up and see what happens. I want you to.
Hey, man, just come here and talk to us.
I'm
What?
water these back flowers is what I'm finna do.
Well,
He said, I'm about to go water these back flowers. That's what I'm about to do. You know, he's not studying these officers at all. I don't blame him. You know, what crime did he commit? Right? What crime did he commit? This is interesting. He said, I'm about to go water these flowers.
if you would let us talk to you, we can figure stuff out.
You know, you're going to catch an obstruction charge if you keep walking away.
You can do whatever you want to do it. Do it.
We're just trying to talk to you, man. Come here.
313, 314, follow.
I'm 10-4. We got one that's not listening to it. Look, man, let me see your phone. Let me see your phone, dude. Just calm down, okay?
No.
Stop.
I like this.
Okay. We're just trying to talk to you and see.
Oh, guess what? Guess what I smell? I smell a lawsuit. A lawsuit in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Listen, you guys, what did the officers do wrong? Hey, man, you don't put your hands on people unless you know what you got. At this very moment, what are you doing? You restricted his movement. You've detained him. You've placed him under arrest. You have seized his movements, you guys. This right here is a violation of this man's Fourth Amendment rights. Do the officers have a right to do it? One would argue, okay, yeah, they're investigating a suspicious person. He gave you a legitimate explanation, right? It's your job to investigate whether or not what he's saying is true or false, you guys. And I don't know. I think this is a horrible, horrible move on the officers. There's no justification for detaining him. He's not violent. He's not acting out. He's not being difficult. He was being very cooperative, right? So, and look what he's doing now. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. What is he doing? He is cooperating, you guys, even when he knows the officers are wrong. He told them earlier that, listen, I used to be a police officer, you guys. You can't just come up here and ask for my ID, and if I deny it, I have a right to say no. I have a right to say no. You guys, this is the problem, right? When you have officers or when you have a citizen that knows and understands the law and the Constitution better than the officers who are enforcing it. That's why he's like, oh, put my hands behind my back. Oh, absolutely. Oh, I want this. I want this to happen, you guys. Listen to the pastor. The pastor knows God is about to bless him, right? He's about to anoint his pockets. All right. So what is happening here? He's being detained. For what reason? I don't know. I don't know. But let's see what the officers explain and how they justify this.
I don't want to argue with you, okay?
All right, go ahead and do what you got to do, Doc.
You
Do what you got to do. Go on and lock me up.
Look, just have a
It's
seat.
already a
locked up.
lawsuit. It's already a lawsuit,
Yes,
Doc.
sir. Yes, sir.
It's already a
Okay.
lawsuit.
Just have a seat, okay?
Okay, already a lawsuit.
He said it's already a lawsuit, you guys. Of course, he already knows what it is. It's already a lawsuit. Listen, he said, nah, do what you got to do. No, take me all the way to jail. I want to go. I want to sit in the jail. I'd be ready to go, you guys. I'd be, do you need, no, sir, take me right as soon as possible. I need to get to the jail right now. The longer you have me, the longer that check going to be. Cha-ching in the name of Jesus. That's what I'll be saying. All he can see the heavenly angels just sprinkling dollar bills all over his house, you guys. Listen, he already know what time it is. He already knows what time it is. This is interesting. So
1026, one black man. Sit down. Sit down, man. Just
Okay, let me call my wife.
you're not calling nobody.
My son just got racially profiled in Michigan. He's got his master's degree. He's the athletic director. 3 police profiling came in. I was ex-police officer, good one. I told you I'm a pastor.
Okay, look, man.
Who called y'all?
We,
That's what I'm
I
trying
don't
to
have
tell
to
you.
ID
you
myself.
will not listen.
I have a call on you. You have to identify yourself to me.
No, I
You
don't.
understand what
No,
I'm
I
telling
don't.
you?
No, I don't. You wait to watch how you want. Take me down.
First of all, who are you yelling at? Ego, right? You guys, I say it all the time, man. But what is he doing though, right? Shout out to the pastor. What is he doing? And I tell you guys this all the time on the channel. Just cooperate. If you recognize that your rights are being violated, that's okay, right? There's no need to be aggressive. There's no reason to be disrespectful. Just cooperate. Cooperate and document, especially if they have body cameras. Cooperate, document. If you can record yourself. All those things are well within your rights. But just cooperate. You don't got to be. And listen, that's what he did. Don't resist. It's not no need to hold court right here in the moment, right? Comply to survive. I say it all the time. That's my theme on this channel. Comply to survive. So what is he saying? What is the officer doing? He lost his cool. He's yelling, right? This pattern that we see with some officers when when people don't listen to what they want them to do. Even when the officer doesn't even realize they're giving people an unlawful command, they lose themselves. Why? They're so accustomed to people just doing what they are told because they told them to do it, right? How dare you do something opposite? How dare you not cooperate the way I want you to cooperate? How dare you not give me your name? You have to give me your name when I ask it. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. And this is how you know this officer wasn't trained properly. This is how you know the officer was not trained properly, because these statements rooted in ego. His feelings are hurt, and now he's angry and he's taking it out on an innocent person. You guys, this is absolutely one of the biggest issues in law enforcement today is the damn ego problem. This is the issue.
Bookman, go do what you need to do. Go do what you need to do.
I think it's going to be.
Please call my wife right quick.
We're going to wait off. All right. Well, y'all sit with him, Jeremy. I'm going to go over here see if it's 6 people over here that call.
No, it's all right.
313.
Go ahead.
Can you have the 72 that called step out and talk to her?
You must know.
Okay, so give you some context. He just called the dispatcher and asked the dispatcher to call the complainant, the person who made the 911 call, and say, hey, can you have them step out to come speak to us? You guys, listen, this investigation is a little backwards, right? They should have spoke to her first, right? You recognize, you make contact with him. He's not a threat. You keep an eye on him, have a general conversation, casual conversation about stuff. Sir, I just need to confirm that you do have permission to be here. And when the story checks out or doesn't check out, then you go to the next level of the investigation. They should have spoke to her. Listen, in my department, we did a thing where if someone called about suspicious activity, we would ask the complainant, what was it that made this look suspicious? Can you describe it? Can you explain it? Because we're not going to go out here harassing people simply because you think something don't look right. Okay, we're going to ask further. There have been plenty of times where a supervisor's like, okay, there's nothing suspicious about that. A person walking down the street with a dog, cancel that, we're not going, right? And this is why we do those things, because of this problem right here.
Hey, you know what? You know what? 10-15. 10-15. 10-15. I ain't gonna sit there and have that, dude.
Will you let my wife?
No, you ain't letting nothing now.
Appreciate it. Okay, I will.
313. You show me 10-15, one black man.
So 10-15 means place under arrest. I guess there was some sort of a commotion. I heard the pastor say something to the effect of you shut your mouth or something like that. I guess the officer may have told him to shut his mouth or something like that, and then he said it back to him in return. I couldn't hear it that well, but I heard him say, no, you shut your mouth, right? So obviously the officer said something that was unprofessional and definitely inappropriate, and he responded, right? So, and then now what happened? The officer here that we're watching on the body cam, he heard it and he's like, oh, nah, that's it. Take him to jail. What's the problem with that, you guys? What's the problem with that? Are you taking him to jail because he committed a crime, right, that you're investigating? Or now are you taking him to jail out of form of retaliation because now you're just irritated, right? You're mad, you're angry. See, this is a problem. And this is how officers get caught up in a conundrum, because now you didn't even finish your investigation. You don't even know, you haven't even verified his story, whether or not his story is actually accurate. Now you're arresting him because he was in an argument with the other police officer. Doesn't look good. This looks like retaliation. This looks like I'm enforcing the law through my ego. I'm enforcing the law through my feelings, you guys. And again, Let it rain, right? Let it rain.
I got to get gas, so he needs to go on someone else's.
Call at the jail. I call at the jail.
Yes, sir. I'm on this car right
I mean, I don't know if they called.
We'll
if
look
she,
on the log and see who called.
I mean, I saw the gold SUV. So, and I saw him outside, and all I did said, "Hey, man, do you live here?" "No." "Is that your car?" "No, it's the neighbor's." So I'm finna go over here and run the tag.
now. Okay. He's not going to cooperate.
Oh no, sitting there hollering.
I'm trying to explain to him that we got a call and we have the right to identify him. And he says I'm talking.
It for me.
Okay, so now he's actually running the license plate on the car to find
Golden
out
color
who the
Chevy
owner belongs to. A little late. A little late. Yeah, these off. This is a
505.
So now he said 505. He's looking at the address on the house. Why? He wants to now match the address to the vehicle. You guys, it's a little late for that. It's a little late, right? I would have checked the mailbox, matched the name. This is how you know these officers are not trained properly. Again, too much power wielded by a lot of these officers with such little training.
She says she's stepping outside.
All right, so now we're gonna meet the complainant, the person who actually called the police.
You talking to the 72? Do you know that gentleman back?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Does he have
He
permission?
lives right there.
Okay, does he have permission here to be watering flowers?
He may because they are friends.
Okay.
And they went out
Oh
of town
my
today,
God.
So he may be watering their flowers.
Okay.
Be completely normal.
Okay,
And that's
is that
fine.
that's fine. If he would have said, "Hey, I got this," gave his identification because he's a suspicious person, he said that's not his vehicle; it's their vehicle.
We have
Okay.
a call. Like,
Yeah.
we're here
Okay.
because we're called here. I don't know who called, but somebody did.
Did you call us?
313.
This is probably my fault.
Okay. Do you know who?
Probably
Roy
your
Mallon
fault. This is absolutely your fault. Well, partially. The other half is on these so-called professionals who should know how to properly do an investigation, and then also should understand the law and how to enforce it better. Unfortunately, citizens call the police all the time for things that look suspicious, look out of place. It's not their fault for calling it in as much as it's the fault of the officers to make sure and ensure that they do their job properly and make sure they don't trample on people's rights. So unfortunately, I don't know what she thought she saw. She saw black skin, you guys, right? Because now that he's in the back of the patrol car, she's like, "Oh, I know him, right? This is the pastor guy. Yeah, I know him. He lives right here." You guys, what the hell? You know, I say it all the time, right? Some people judge you by your skin color and think that you're already in the wrong. Well, let's also say this, right? The person who lives in that house is white. Could she not see who that person was? Watering the grass? Does she have that person's number? Could she not call? So who knows? Who knows what she reported and how she reported it?
That's the person who owns that vehicle.
Roy Mallon.
Roy
Ask
Mallon.
him who
Gold
owns the
Tahoe.
house. I don't know the guy's name. I don't know who owns. It could be their
Can
vehicle.
y'all leave, Mr.
Step out.
Miss Sister Connie and
What's
Mr.
wrong
Roy.
with you?
My cuffs are a little bit tight if y'all don't mind loosening them up.
Sure he's.
Listen to me, man. Is that better?
I was actually about to go over to his house.
Listen, let me talk to you. Who is Roy Mallon? That's you, ain't it?
I'm Michael Jennings, sir.
You're Michael Jennings. Who is Roy Mallon?
I don't know.
Okay, that's who that vehicle belongs to.
Yeah, that's
Who
all I
lives
know.
in-
His name is Roy.
That's who lives here?
That's Roy. I call him Roy and I call his wife Connie, and I've been dealing with him for 7 years that I've been
Yeah.
living here.
They are friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you called not because of the car, but because you thought someone saw someone besides him.
Right. I didn't know it was him.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry
got to
about
keep their
that.
flowers watered. I got to keep their flowers watered
I'm
while
so
they down.
sorry.
You okay?
Listen.
And by the way, I won't get to come to the graduation, but we're going to get you signed something.
No, don't.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen to me, man.
Listen, he in handcuffs and still out here spreading love and joy, man. Shout out to this brother, right? He's like, yeah, I'm going to jail, but listen, for graduation, you know, we still showing up. I'm gonna get your son something. Guess what? She probably feels like crap, you guys. Why? He's ready to go to jail, right? All because, you know, she didn't look hard enough before she made that call to 911. Wow. But look how he's handling the situation. The guy is super respectful. He's super patient. He's chill. It's the chill. Well, I've seen people do this before, but you guys, this is very uncommon. You know, when someone knows they're not wrong and they're being accused of something and they're just very still with a smile, he's laughing, he's peaceful, he's pleasant. Man, shout out to this brother, Michael Jennings, Pastor Michael Jennings. Shout out to you, brother. This is handling it very well. Very, very well.
Listen, anytime the police come out and they say, we want to identify you, you have to identify yourself because there's a reasonable suspicion, there's a reasonable man.
No, that's not true. That's not true, you guys. That's absolutely not true. You don't have to identify yourself, right? Yes, the officers can compel you if you committed a crime and they're investigating crime. Suspicious activity is not a crime. And also one could argue that he dispelled all suspicion because he gave his name, right? He said he lives in this community. He had permission from the owner to water the grass because the owners are out of town. What's the responsibility of the officer at that point, you guys? It's their responsibility to investigate the claims and allegation that he made to defend himself. He's relieved all suspicion, right? And it's the police's job to do their job. And so, but not to overstep their authority, which they did, not to falsely accuse him of something he did not do, right? Not to violate his Fourth Amendment rights, what they did, right? They detained him, they stopped him, they seized his movements, they put him under arrest, you guys, and then they decided to take him to jail. Why? Because their feelings got hurt. It's not how the law works. That's not how the law is supposed to be enforced, you guys. What's going on with these officers? We got to get them out of here, get them trained, and get them out of here, right? Because this is the problem with policing. Listen to what he says, and rewinding back, listen to what he says about the crime. The officer says, yeah, you have to identify yourself when there's suspicion, when you're a suspicious person. No, you guys, it's not true. It's not accurate.
Water while they gone. You okay? And by the way, I won't get to come to the graduation, but we're gonna get your son something.
No, don't.
Listen to me, man. Listen to me. Anytime the police come out and they say, we want to identify you, you have to identify yourself because there's a reasonable suspicion, there's a reasonable man, there's a vehicle. There's a reasonable suspicion that you're here. It's not a crime. Yeah. If you would have said, yeah, here's my name, here's everything, we were like, okay. I told
him my name.
You didn't tell me your name.
I decided, he asked me who I was. I said,
you didn't give it to me when I first asked.
Pastor Jennings.
That's not a name. That's a pastor. Yeah. I need your name.
The way y'all handle this situation was totally wrong.
Well, listen.
You're racially profiled.
We're not racial profile.
Yes,
no, sir. We're not about that.
I told you I was here watering the flowers.
How do I know that's the truth? Anybody.
I had the water hose in my hand. I was watering all the flowers.
Anybody can pick a hose pipe up.
He is gonna be so pissed when I tell him I got arrested watering his flowers.
He said, I don't know. You could be. The officer says, I don't know. You could be making this up. He said, what do you mean making it up? I said, I told you I told you exactly what I was doing. I was watering flowers. Well, you could be lying, sir. Sir, what do you mean? I got the hose in my hand when you pulled up and I was watering the flowers. Genius. What is he doing? He makes the officers look like imbeciles, you guys. Complete imbeciles. Sir, what you were doing was suspicious when we pulled up. What were you doing? Well, I told you, officer, I was watering flowers. Well, you could be lying and making it up, right? We don't know that. Sir, what do you mean? When you pulled up, I had the water hose in my hand. I was watering the flowers. Like, whew. Oh, man. It's these type of officers that cost the taxpayers a lot of money, which they will, which they absolutely will. This is a lawsuit. This is probably the easiest lawsuit I've ever seen happen. Just easy. I'm a little jealous. He said it's racial profiling. No, it's not racial profiling. Why? Because someone called the police on him, right? The officers didn't stop him. This was not a self-initiated, oh, this is a white neighborhood. Let me stop this black guy. He looks like he doesn't belong. No, someone actually called the police on him. And to that lady's defense, bless her heart, right? She needs glasses, right? What did she see? She saw a black-skinned person in the yard of someone they know that is white. She doesn't even know them as well as he knows them. They are actually friends, right? He's friends with the person whose yard he was watering. He knows them intimately, and she doesn't know them at all. She doesn't even know their name. So I just find it so ironic now. But he's saying the officers racially profiled him. No. Is there some bias there? Absolutely. I would say definitely there was some stereotyping here. What's the issue here that I've seen in other cases? That a lot of times, listen, his statement was not good enough, right, for the officers to de-escalate. His statement was not good enough for the officers to give him the benefit of the doubt. The officers could have handled this in such a better way. They failed this situation. I give them an F for a score, you guys. They simply did not give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Nothing about him warranted any type of danger, a threat. You know, it doesn't mean you don't stay on guard, but at the same time, it does mean that you need to handle the situation differently. So, is there some bias there? Absolutely. I also believe they stereotype this man, and that's the reason why he ended up in handcuffs. To be completely honest, so let's finish this out. Let's hear what the officers have to say. Let's go from there.
7
Well,
years
look,
we've been friends.
we got that. Look, let's sit back in here.
Okay.
You can sit down. Give me, so we can get this going on the ball. All right. What is your social?
I'm not gonna give you a social.
You need to give me your social.
I'll give you my name. That's all I'm gonna give you. You're not gonna run no 27 and 28 on me and get me in the system for no reason.
All right, what's your
The girl already told you.
And he know the codes, you guys. This is a former officer they're talking to. You guys, he's like, I'm not giving you my social. You have to give me your social. Where are these officers getting their training from, man? Lawsuit. Boy, this brother about to get paid something silly. And he know it. That's why he's chilling.
Who I am.
Okay, yes,
I'm Michael Jennings. That's all you
Michael Jennings.
Michael Jennings.
Spell your first name.
M-I-C-H-A-E-L.
A-E-L?
That's it.
Jennings, J-E-N-N.
Yes, sir.
I-N-G-S.
G-S.
What's your date of birth?
1/17/66.
1/17/66. All right. Sit in the car for me.
Yes, sir.
We'll handle this in just a
Can you
second.
give me? Can't let the window. It's hot.
Yeah. Will you let the window down a little bit for him?
He said, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What are we going to do with him?
You'll see the charge of, I guess, disorderly conduct, the failure to obey a police officer. He refused to give any information.
He said he's not going to give me his social, but he gave me his name and date of birth.
Okay, and she's saying the same thing. She won't give her name.
Hold on, what?
Yeah, because he got arrested.
Hold up. So they're going to charge him with obstruction for failure to give his name. That's not how obstruction works, you guys. Again, obstruction works like this. There has to be a crime that's been violated, and you are obstructing the officers from investigating that crime. You've interfered, you blocked, you restricted, you prevented them or tried to prevent them from carrying out their duties successfully. That's obstruction. There's physical obstruction, and then there's an investigative obstruction. So there's two types of obstructions, right? So the physical obstruction, that's a felony, right? When you are assaulting, resisting arrest, that's an obstruction charge. And when you hinder the investigation, that's also an obstruction charge. But there has to be a crime, you guys. There has to be an actual crime that you're investigating for to satisfy. At least that's how it is in Georgia, unless it changed, right? Unless it changed. So disorderly conduct, what he's saying, what's disorderly about what he did? A disorderly conduct obstruction charge. You guys are grabbing straws. This is a false arrest, right? You can't arrest somebody because you didn't do your job properly, and you didn't like the way they challenged you on the law, and because you don't know how to use the law properly, now you're offended. I wonder how much that check's gonna be. 1 million, 1 million, 2 million, 2 million, 3 million, 3 million, 3 million, going once, going twice, going $4 million. Jesus Christ, man. I'd be praying too, all the way to jail. Lord, if you could, Lord, I know we're gonna win this lawsuit, but if you could just drop a little extra holy sauce on it, Lord. And I'm gonna take that money and I'm gonna help build this police department better in the name of Jesus. Oh, jeez. So, what's the funny thing about this incident? Well, the woman who called, she also refused to give her information too for the police report. You can't make this up. All right, can't make this up. Which it is okay for them to remain anonymous, right? If they want to do that. So they're not going to really get on her too much about that. But I just think it's funny. Jesus. Oh, this is hilarious.
And I write a statement with him. He told me I tried to explain it to him.
Right.
And he said I'm talking to him like a boy. I said, if you'll just listen to me, I can be an audio and video recorded. What we're trying to do is identify yourself and what's going on here. He wouldn't even let me. He wanted to yell over me and say we're racial profiling, and I'm talking to him like he's a boy.
Nobody was doing that.
You did. Honestly, that officer was the first one to yell at him, actually. He was the first one to yell at him. And so I would love to see his body cam with that actual interaction. I would really love to hear that conversation and really pick apart. But the first person who raised their voice and escalated their voice after he was in handcuffs was the officer. So, he started yelling at him and while he was sitting on the steps. So I don't know. Let's see. It gets more interesting though.
313 swapping back director.
Sure.
Let me fast forward all this.
So you can do this once.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we'll need his ID.
I'm just gonna take his ID and we're gonna.
Well, we'll just.
Daddy.
He wants to take his whole.
So his wife, his daughter, show up at the scene. You guys, I'm just run through it pretty quickly. I didn't finish watching this piece, so I'm gonna just kind of play it out.
You want them to give your ID?
I just wanted you to know who it was.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
If he don't give me an ID and we don't have a way to identify him, I will have to book him on John Doe. But if he's got it, then that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, he's okay. So he's been identified.
I'll
He's
tell you what
identified
happened.
himself.
We
She's
get a call
identified
here.
him and verified who he is and where he
Because she didn't know
lives.
who was here.
Missionary, so.
But when we get here, of course, we're going to immediately investigate the call.
Yes.
Find him on scene. All he's doing is watering the plants, and that's not a problem.
What do you want? What do you want to
And
do?
we say, hey,
Your phone is
sir,
at the
we have a
house.
call here.
What do you want us to
We
do?
need you to identify yourself, please. Like, no, I'm not identifying myself. You don't have to identify me, and so on. And he began to walk away. And we wouldn't listen, and he's walking away, so
Okay,
of course
so
we
what do you
detained
want
him.
us to do?
We don't know what's going on.
Gotcha.
After that, we radioed for them to contact her, have her step out and talk to us. Well, she does tell us it's a mistake and all that stuff. But at this point, he's already collected the charge. Once we place him on arrest, we can't unarrest him. Does that make sense?
Once you're under arrest, can you be unarrested? Yes. You just take the handcuffs off and then you apologize that you made a mistake. This is probably, regardless, the lawsuit's going to be in effect, but honestly, guys, it's as simple as, we're wrong. We got bad intel and we handled it the wrong way, right? We handled it absolutely the wrong way. There was a better way they could have gone about it. They could have used better judgment, better critical thinking skills, and handled that situation a lot better and de-escalated. But again, is it, I don't know.
It's so simple. And the neighbor just told him this morning, please water the plants and
he
take care of
he
them.
said
Look
that,
out
but it
for
was
the
all
house.
afterwards. It was all afterwards. And all we told him was, like, if you're here to water the plants, that's okay. Just please identify yourself, just your name, and let us call the owner. And he didn't want to do that until he caught the charge. So
So what do we need to do now? What do
He's
you want me to do? What
he's
you want
going
me
to
to
go
do?
to the Childersburg Police Department. We're going to process the arrest report. It's going to be one charge for obstruction of our investigation. He'll go to the jail. He can bond out immediately. You can get your bondsman. It'll be 10% of the bond.
So it'd be like $50.
We're not investigating a crime. We're investigating a call. And we have a right to identify anybody involved in that call.
But obviously he can't identify himself.
He's walking away and yelling at us and telling us we have no right and we have a call there. But if he wants to fight in court, that's fine.
He said, we're not investigating a crime, we're investigating a call. Training. That's a lawsuit, you guys. That's an absolute lawsuit that he's gonna win. And it just is what it is. Shout out to Michael Jennings. He handled himself very professionally. He was still very respectful. He was very cooperative, and he lived to see the check at the end of the rainbow, you guys. I say it all the time. Comply to survive, right? You see it in real time. Someone whose rights were violated. The officers were imbeciles. They were over aggressive. They didn't de-escalate. We saw all of that. And guess what he did? He complied. He did not resist arrest, not one time, you guys. And the officers decided to take him to jail simply because their feelings were hurt because of the words that he said, right? They felt disrespected. They started then policing through their ego, you guys, and that's always going to be an issue. So shout out to you, Pastor Michael Jennings, and congratulations. What's going to happen to these officers? Who knows? They'll probably, I don't know. I guess we just stand by and see. Anyways, you guys, know this video is kind of went on kind of long. Let me know your thoughts. What are your thoughts? What are your reactions on this? He did bond out, obviously, and guess what? The police department dropped all charges, right? So this is just not a good look. Lawsuit pending. They're definitely going to win this one. I wonder how much. Let's estimate how many millions you guys think. What you think the fallout's going to be? Anybody can guess close to the number, I'll send you a prize. So anyways, you guys, if you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video. We'd love to have you a part of this journey. And with that, you guys, let these truths find you where the lies have left you. Good night and God bless.